Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. Welcome to 49ers Tonight on Niners Radio 49. We do this just about every day. Uh, Niners Radio 49. We are continuing a busy day for the 49ers as they're on this short week trying to rebound after that very heartbreaking, disappointing loss to the Arizona Cardinals last Sunday that in that heat wave over in the South Bay and Santa Clara. Niners are right now sitting at 2-3 in the NFC West. They trailed the Seahawks by a game. They'll be taking on the Seahawks for Thursday night football, and we'll be on location somewhere. I'm going to get some word later on, sometime tomorrow. I'll make it a full official announcement where we're going to be for this week 5, for this week 6 matchup. And if you guys are about right now, you can check us out on Niners, youtube.com/ at Niners Radio 49. That, and always, please, please click the subscribe button. Our mission is to grow this thing and get 1,000 subscribers. And we're so make sure you guys click the subscribe button as we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers and try to keep this thing growing. And we're gonna tonight on Niners Radio 49. We first would like to apologize. We had some technical difficulties with our settings, so we weren't able to get everything coming on late. But we're gonna be on to give you this podcast. We got lots of going on. Uh, Also tomorrow, I'm gonna try to hope we can get that 49ers tailgate show up on YouTube from last Sunday. Niners were taking on the week from where we taped it over at Levi Stadium last Sunday. As the Niners ended up losing to the Cardinals, but we're on this short week. We're getting ready for Niners versus the Seahawks, and the Niners in a prospect of a must-win game. Already 0-2 in the division. Both losses were divisional losses, and losing by at least 3 points or less, total of 4 points to be exact, and already 0-3 in the conference overall. And the Niners, so far these first 5 games of the season, at 2-3, are combined. They've lost to a combined uh, by a combined total of 10 points. So this team, the Niners, could easily right now be 5-0, at very least 4-1. Worst case, at the very worst, 3-2. But they're not, and the Niners gonna have to ride the ship, and they try to get some able bodies back. So let's just take a look at what has happened. Of course, you watched it earlier in the day. Um you watched it early in the you watched it early in the day. Niners making some roster moves on the podcast. The Niners making some roster moves. Uh, so Matthew Wright is going to be coming in as he, and then some news with the Talahufunga injury update. We're trying to find out that their third safety, he tore several ligaments in his wrist and will miss at least a month, making injured reserve a possibility for the fourth year All Pro. Who Hanafunga recently came back from his torn ACL injury and appeared just 2 games in weeks 3, 5, and 5, now suffering a new wrist injury. Second year Jair Brown ankle, cornerback Travis Ward were both limited participants in Tuesday's workout getting banged up versus the Arizona Cardinals with the safeties down a starter. The team will look to rookie Malik Mustafa, who got his first start against the New England Patriots, to continue to take a bigger role on the defense. Mustafa logged in 100% of the defensive snaps in Week 4, and following the injury to Hulafunga, added 47 snaps, 81% of defensive snaps in Week 5. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with the reps in the few weeks the game started to slow down for me. Mustafa said now it's about how can I get my game to the next level. Being more consistent. The guys, even though I'm a rookie, coaching staff and the teammates have enough faith in me that I have faith in myself to execute the high and low. All pro linebacker Fred Warner spoke to the rookie safety development part of the season. He's been great. I've been spoken to a couple of times. Warner said, I love Malik. I love the way he plays. Kyle Shanahan talks about zero hesitation of playing with hair on fire. I really like the way that he's been playing. And then some other Niners news checking in. So we're going to get into this podcast and hear from the 49ers and their thoughts as they get ready to face which and some other roster moves. The Niners made some roster moves on Tuesday. So we're just going to take a look of what for Kyle Shanahan's. Are they preparing for the 49ers? We're going to listen to that. I'll get that thing set up just a moment. For 49ers will be. They're saying now they're turning the page and getting ready for Seattle. So as we are going to. As always, 49ers Live tonight is presented by Ticketmaster. Get 49ers season, get 49ers seats. You're looking for a snap. Ticketmaster is the official provider for San Francisco 49ers in the NFL. So right now we're gonna go. We're gonna do Kyle Shanahan as him and Larry and Sorensen. Both they're getting ready to. For Thursday Night Football, moving the page, get off that tough loss to the Cardinals last Sunday, and then moving forward. So right now it's Kyle Shanahan's press conference early in the day. We're gonna get that thing set up. Get that thing set up as we're gonna give you his press conference right this moment. And we're gonna just get this thing set up. And here's Kyle Shanahan on his upcoming next.
Injuries for today. Huff, wrist won't practice. Flanagan Fowles, calf won't practice. Jake Moody, right ankle won't practice. Jordan Elliott, knee won't practice. Charvarius Ward, knee will be limited. Conley oblique limited. Kittle ribs limited. Fred Warner ankle limited. Jair ankle limited. That's it.
Diagnosis on Hufanga,
Tore some ligaments in his wrist.
a multi-week.
Yeah, it'll be at least a month, probably longer. We haven't decided whether to do it or not though.
Ward get hurt.
During the game, had a bruise on his knee. Yeah.
You guys have to say whether they're questionable today because it's Friday, or do you have tomorrow?
I don't think so. Unless someone messed up. I just Ron Burgundy this thing, so.
A lot of people make a lot about McDonald's defense and what happened last year on Christmas.
What can you tell us about McDonald's scheme and what makes it special?
I mean, does a real good job mixing all the schemes up, fronts, coverages. His players play real hard. They're coached well. Their techniques are good tacklers, and they mix up the looks.
What's look different between that Seahawks squad and a Pete Carroll Seahawks squad?
I mean, the schemes have changed. They run different schemes.
Like Geno Smith is throwing the ball probably, I think, maybe more than some people. He's throwing it more than any quarterback in the NFL. So how is he doing, and how much of their offense maybe revolves more around him than their running game in the past?
It's still early, so you never know, but they definitely started out that way. I think Geno's doing a hell of a job. Yeah, he's got 3 big weapons in the pass game, including his tight ends also. His running back is as good as it gets also. So they got some talent over there, and they can stretch the field, and Geno can get hot.
Do you have any reaction to Robert Sala's dismissal, and have you guys exchanged texts or anything?
I haven't yet, just because how backed up we've been. I mean, I sent him a text, but I haven't got to talk to him, and yeah, I was pretty shocked. That stuff throws you off, especially. I think they're competing for first in the division this week, and I think they're up there on defense and got a pretty good team and a chance to have a hell of a year. So that was pretty surprising.
What has Malik Mustafa done well so far, and how has he been in the sort of the communication aspect of his job?
I think communication is one of the hardest things, especially for a young guy coming in. I think he's been getting better at that the more he's been out there. I think, just his lack of not hesitating. I think you guys saw that a little in preseason, just with some of the hits he had, especially you saw a couple in that Tennessee game from what I remember. And when he's come in, he's done the same stuff. I think he gets faster each week, just recognizing things and not breaking down and trying to run through his tackles.
Do you have the same volume of plays and the same size of a playbook on a Thursday game as you do for a Sunday game?
Yeah, I'd say the same size. You don't try to put in as much new stuff or things that take a while to get down. Sometimes we overwhelm guys on Wednesday, but you can repeat it on a Thursday and Friday and come back to it, and eventually it sticks. So you try not to do that with new stuff, but volume-wise is much different.
Talked about kind of a do no harm approach to special teams, which can be read as like, well, why don't you want to make them as great as possible and make a difference? Is that an accurate reading? And kind of what is your philosophy as far as, I guess what I'm referring to is sometimes you said, we don't want them to screw it up.
Yeah, I don't know if I always had the right words for that, but what I'm trying to say is you'd like to build a team to where you don't feel you have to return a kick, a punt, or have a fake kick or a fake punt, or you don't have to rely on something like that to get a win. I like to feel that you feel like you can do it between the offense and defense of just beating someone. And I think in this league, one of the best ways to win games is to not lose a game, to not find a way to lose it. I mean, a lot of games are given away. And when it comes to special teams, with the amount of touchbacks there are and stuff, just extra points, getting a punt off, those are opportunities to lose it with any of those are blocked. There's only so many special teams plays that go into a game. And so you don't want to be overly risky on trying to win it there when you're only going to have 10 to 15 plays. You take out all the touchbacks and stuff, it's even less than that. So you don't want to go out of your way to be risky to try to get your stuff there. You'd rather do it with people who are out there for 70 straight plays.
Can this be a galvanizing moment for your team? I understand it's really early, but you have a short week at Seattle and then kind of that mini bye to just get yourselves right before the 2 home games before the bye, just like where you're at in the schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, so many situations. I mean, losing our last 2 divisional games, having one this week's huge. Playing against Seattle is always huge. Going up there is always huge. And then always in the NFL, it's tough to get ready for a Thursday night game, but I think everyone enjoys them because it's very rare that you get to sit back and kind of enjoy that for 3 days and watch the rest of the league. And they're a lot more fun when you win, and when you get to sit back and be pissed off for 3 days, it's not nearly as much fun.
It's like we've asked these questions with Robert and with D'Amico early in their tenures as defensive coordinator, but with Nick, is it kind of a similar thing, just kind of figuring things out? And how would you evaluate just the early part of his tenure as defensive coordinator?
I think Nick's doing a real good job. I've been impressed with him since the beginning. Each week, I like how he handles the defensive staff. I like how they set up the practices, and I've liked his game plans, and I liked how he's called it. So I've been real happy with Nick so far.
Red zone, is it, creating space in the red zone, is it more about your personnel, or is it play design? Is it quickness? What's the key to getting that space in that tight area?
Everything. Wish I could give you guys a theme for the red zone, but you get 3 tries when you're inside the 10, and depending on what you do, when we run the ball there, I think we need to be much more effective running it. When you run the ball twice, you'd like to get in and not just put one pressure third down on the pass game. And when you do throw it more, then you got to make sure you come through with those, especially not having a negative play with those. So running the ball better takes a lot of pressure off, also gives some better passing looks. We've tried both and haven't been good enough with both those. So it's all aspects of offense.
A couple really productive games against Seattle last year. How would you, assess how he's performing specifically as a receiver so far?
I think Debo's doing a good job. I mean, I think, he had his best game, at least statistically, right before he got hurt. Missed a week and a half, and thought it was tough for him to come back for the New England game, but he was able to get out there and play. And didn't get involved a ton last week, but it's usually a matter of time with that stuff. That stuff comes full circle, and Debo's too good to not eventually have a big one.
Do you have a timeline on Moody? Is IR a possibility?
It's
for
a
him?
high ankle sprain, so usually with those, I usually say about a month. Sometimes they can surprise you and go quicker. Sometimes they can go longer. So we're not exactly sure yet.
So IR is
an option, yeah. Yeah, just with how quick this has happened, having Huff in that situation where we got to decide, Mooney could be a possible decision. We have a number of guys already on it, so we're just trying to weigh in all that stuff.
Talked a lot about Brock's ability to create with his feet, and scramble and buy time. And does the fact that he's doing it so much mean that you need to be doing a better job on offense to get the ball out of his hand?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it goes both ways. It's most of the ones that we're doing that are deeper plays. When they deeper plays and they get deep people and it's a 3-man rush, they usually cover your checkdowns. Plays we've been pretty effective with, and when they don't do it, and I think that's where you see us hit some big crossers. There's times that you want to get rid of it quick, but people got to be open quick too, which usually has to do with blitzers. If people blitz and you get rid of it quick, you will get rid of it quick. You have to. But when they don't, sometimes your checkdowns are covered, and when your checkdowns are covered, I'm glad we have another option. All right, guys. Thanks.
Questions?
Kenneth Walker had a play against the Lions where he was able to kind of stay up. You probably know the one I'm talking about. Is that one that you guys showed to your players just to emphasize the type of athlete that they'll be facing?
Yeah, I did. I just showed that along with a bunch of other ones that are similar, to just show like it's not like a one-time thing. He's got a bunch of plays that you would be like, oh, it's kind of flukish, but he just doesn't go down, and he's hard to get down. Like, he's the type of guy that he has the ability to kind of run wherever, and he's got the strength and like the contact balance that he just doesn't go down, and he'll fight for it. And he's really talented and has top-end speed. Once he gets outside of breaking a tackle, he can go.
Last season, the defensive backs intercepted 16 passes, I believe, in the regular season. So far this season, they haven't intercepted any. Why do you feel the production on the ball among the secondary is down this season?
No, we got to attack it more. There's always ops. We just, it's just one of those things where we just a mindset of when it's up, it's ours. Like, happened yet. We need to be more aggressive with it.
You guys didn't break. Oh, go ahead.
Coach, when you're talking to these guys after 5 games, you're talking to your defense, what are you kind of harping on with them that, look, we need to do this a little bit better. We need to do it right here, but we need to do this a little bit better. What are those specific things that you think will take you guys back into the identity that the Niners have always had?
I think it depends on the play. More so right now, it's just, the mindset of getting ready on a short week. And we're cramming first, second, and third down today. So it's more of just dealing with today. And then when you're evaluating the plays, I think it just depends on what the play is. I mean, I don't think it's, one certain thing here. It's just, there's different stuff that shows up, whether it's for a minute there, it was explosive passes, because those have consistently led to points for years and years and years. And when we give those up and we don't take the ball, like you just mentioned on the interceptions, like it's tough to win games, because those are stats that are continuous and they're consistent, and it's every year. So, whatever the turnover margin is, I mean, if we make it even, I think that last game's different. So I think we always feel like we have to do our part. So that was one of them. But also, any explosive plays, whether it's run or pass.
Do you feel that teams are trying to show you things that they haven't put on tape yet?
It does. I mean, that kind of happens each week, because you want to show something. I mean, we try and do it too, where you give some look and try and do something off of the same look. Like, I think that's what most people do, really. So I think the unscouted plays, that's just what the NFL is. That's what smart coordinators do. That's what smart coaches do. You kind of challenge to do what you do, but how can I make something be different off of the similar look?
How much do you second guess yourself after a rough game, and how much do you lay into the foundation of what you do and believe in that?
It's a good question, because you don't ever have regrets, but there's always things you want to improve on. And if I'm honest, there's times I'm like, God, I could have done this, but no, I believe in that. Like, we can coach this better, or we can execute that better. You don't want to get too far off your fundamentals of your beliefs either. And so that's what I lean into more than anything. And then it's just, how can we get better, fundamentally? And that's with coaching and with how we play and how we practice. And I think there's always going to be calls that aren't perfect for what they do. I think it's the whole, whoever has the pencil last, right? And depending on the route or the run versus the pressure or the coverage. So there's always a little bit of that, but you also have to trust your process. And like you said, if there's unscouted looks, sometimes you just got to be ready to adjust.
Nick, when you watched the Murray 50-yard run on film, what was the breakdown on that play?
Yeah, it was. They got us a bit on that one. You were in single high there, and they just got us on the edge. We didn't bump out, and then we got caught up from the post, and it was a couple different things.
What was the situation there? Sorry to ask you about another breakdown, but it was the one where I think it was I forget which receiver, but he was wide open, and I think it was Ward and Lenore both dropped.
Oh, on the 3rd and 7,
Yeah.
miscommunication after a motion. We had one similar to that off a stack, and a similar D&D earlier to the other side, and it was good communication. And that time it ended up just being on the wrong page.
Mooney's success against DK, would you expect that to be a one-on-one that you're focusing on most of the game?
It can happen. We'll see. We evaluate everything, and we'll go from there. I like all our corners. I respect DK a lot. I respect Tyler Lockett a lot. He's done it for 10 years, and even Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think they have a really talented group, starting with Gino and the running back too. I mean, I think overall, if you look at their skill group, it might be the most talented one we've played overall. When you put the tight ends in it and all the receivers, really both running backs, and then Gino, who can still do it. I think he still moves around well enough. He's been getting rid of the ball fast. I know he's got a great arm, and they've been getting a lot of explosive plays. We talked about the explosives. I mean, they've been explosive. I think they're top 5 in explosives. So,
The last 2 weeks, the defense has missed 29 tackles. What is the film show? Is it fatigue? Are these guys breaking down a little bit?
I wouldn't say it's fatigue. I think we miss tackles sometimes because we're aggressive. Like, we do coach our guys to take their shots. If you show, like, make me a cut up of those tackles, and I'll tell you if it's a good or bad one. To be honest, I mean, that's just, we play aggressive, we play violent. We have, I think, sometimes Fred shows up with quite a few missed tackles, but if a guy stops his feet and, they're having to take time and that guy loses a yard, but you kind of fall off and now we've got two other guys coming, then that's not a bad missed tackle. Sometimes they're a little bit different. I'd have to quantify it by looking at tape. Then I could probably talk you through if they're good or bad or not.
After the game, Bosa was asked about Connor having more success, on the final two drives, and he said they made some adjustments to his own read. He suggested you guys maybe could have adjusted to that better, and sometimes throughout the season, you could have made better adjustments. Is that a fair assessment?
I don't think it was something we didn't adjust. I mean, we started changing some of the calls, and we did mix up whether it was too high or brought pressures. So I thought we talked about it on the sideline, what happened on that one play, and I don't think it was really any breakdown or miscommunication on not adjusting late, because we were changing things up and, getting different looks with our shell and with bringing different types of pressures as well.
Where is Malik Mustafa made his biggest strides from the point where, when Huff was out early in the season, he
What'd you
was
say? Oh, you said Malik. Okay.
where's he made his biggest strides so that now when Huff is out, you have confidence in him starting?
I think his strides have come just because he's played a lot. I mean, we've had a lot of guys play, and I think it's, good that guys gain knowledge through getting their snaps. And for him, it's just being comfortable being out there. I think I've mentioned before, like with safeties, it's that comfort to communicate and the feel of the game and the flow of the game and how it moves and how you have to be, a leader back there behind our backers that you can communicate across the board and be tied in. And I think he's done a good job with that. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Sorensen, the 49ers defensive coordinator. Niners getting ready to take on the Seattle Seahawks for Thursday night football. Kickoff time will be at 5:20, 5:15. Catch it on Amazon Prime. Here is Brock Purdy at the podium earlier today. We're going to just...
How do you just look back on that game?
Yeah, I mean, we've watched it a bunch just in terms of like what we're trying to do, what their scheme was against our offense and our scheme. And so watching it, obviously, I'm watching how the game went and the decisions that I made and stuff, and obviously like learning from it. But more than anything, just when I do get in those situations again, like handling everything in the right way in terms of getting to my answer and taking what the defense gives me and those kinds of things. So it's been really good watching, but at the same time, like I said, we're playing a whole new personnel in the Seahawks, and so should be a little bit different in that regard, just playing different players. But when it comes to scheme versus scheme, it was good to watch the game last year against Baltimore, and so it was good.
On the last interception against the Cardinals, it looks like you were waiting for Ayuk on the out route, and then the Kittle underneath. I saw you, as you're walking out the field, you look at the video board. Do you in that moment see it? It looked like obviously you weren't thrilled and kind of grimaced. I mean, when you look at the video board, do you see like, oh, crap?
Yeah, I mean, I got hit, and so I'm like, all right, how did that happen with our protection that we had on and stuff? And we had two guys come to the side of where our protection was set, and one guy was free, and so that's on me in terms of getting the ball out and not holding on to it. So in that situation, when I was walking off, looking at the video board, I was like, man, did I miss a guy, or did I just try to get to Ayuk the whole time and not see what was going on with the blitz and stuff? So in that moment, that's what I was thinking about, and wish I would have executed it differently.
The stats suggest that you're holding onto the ball longer than any other quarterback, and obviously your scrambles are producing that number. But does it feel different than 22 and 23 as far as just snap to release time for you?
I mean, I feel like there's just been some plays where I'm scrambling and stuff just because like what the defense is doing in terms of dropping 8 and giving us some different looks in that regard. So for me, it's more been about keeping the play alive, and it's been good. And there's also been some plays, obviously, where we've had minus 10 or whatever from trying to scramble around and stuff. So there's, I think, those kinds of plays that pop up, so that maybe how that's affected the stats with that. But for me, I still go about my progressions and everything just like I have the last couple of years with our offense and our system. I'm not going into a game going, all right, I'm going to hold on to the ball longer here and try to make something happen. It's how can I be efficient, help out the O-line, get the ball out of my hands, and do my job. So, but the teams that we've played, the schemes that we've played, I guess they've done some of that where they're dropping more back in the zone and making me go through my progression, and turns out I'm holding on to the ball. So
It's that, Brock, is your play action is down this year from what's been in the past. Is that a function of that? When teams are dropping more, you don't want to turn your back because you need that extra time to go through progressions, or what do you kind of attribute that to?
I don't know if that's the case. I would say, you got to be running the ball really, really well, and then setting up certain plays and stuff. And where we're at, I think we're running the ball really well, but I think within schemes and trying to win with certain plays drawn up, for us it's just been drop back plays, and we trust in the guys to just be able to drop back and allow me to go through a progression and rip it to them. So we're not going into a game saying they're going to drop back a lot, so we're going to stay away from the play action pass. We still have plays dialed up in the play action world, but we just haven't had opportunities to run them in the right situations or whatnot. But again, we're trusting in Kyle within all the play calls with that regard, and so that's just sort of just how the flow of the game has gone and the play calls have gone. So
Last year, you guys were the number 1 team in the league in red zone touchdown percentage. This year, it's been more of a struggle. What does the film show? How would you evaluate what you guys have done in the red zone?
yeah, I think we've had some opportunities, and I think that's an area for me to be better for sure. Trust the plays, trust the concepts, trust my guys, and being willing to go down there and rip it. I mean, like I said, when I talked to you guys last time after the game, the windows get tighter and the timing of it is quicker and faster. So for me, it's about getting back into a rhythm down there and giving my guys a chance. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen on film.
After the game, you and Nick Bosa both said that you need to get back to complementary football. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, man, it's a team sport. So for 4 quarters, when the defense gets to stop for us as an offense, it's like, all right, let's pick it up and go put points on the board, and vice versa. When we're rolling, defense get a stop, special teams do their thing. That's complementary football. That's how you win in this league. And if defense is getting all these stops and the offense is cold, I mean, it's pretty obvious to everybody that it's going to be tough to get into a rhythm and pull away from a team, and then you allow a team to stay in the game and those kinds of things. But the last couple of years when we've won pretty well, it's been about complementary football. Defense gets stops and turnovers, offense puts up points on the board, and we pull away. So we both believe in that, and everyone here knows that's the truth.
It's early, but can this type of game galvanize you based on a little bit of a slow start and knowing what the schedule looks like with a couple of hard home games after this as well? Can this kind of game rally you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think every game for us is extremely important. Obviously, you get through the end of the season, it's like where are you at, wins and losses and all that kind of stuff going into the playoffs. So, I mean, everything matters. But for us, man, all that matters right now is Seattle Thursday night, getting back into the win column and just picking up our momentum, man. I think the season is so much about momentum and obviously staying healthy and getting ready for the next game. But for us, man, it's one game at a time. We're not looking too far ahead in the future, and whoever we get up on our schedule for the next game, that's who we got. But we're not looking too far into it, and we just got to win.
You're scrambling and extending plays larger than this season. Sweet ankle breaking moves, early on Sunday. But when you do have the one
radio right there. The, to continue on 49, we continue. The video footage, courtesy, that's courtesy by, that's courtesy by, Voice kind of give you the highlight of the room footage, all the so for the footage, so continuing on as Radio 49, and we're coming up in 2 months. Give you a special treat in this series. We went all year back of because we're going to pass you the 1984 years. This week we celebrating the anniversary on the one record dominated and won the KFC. We're gonna the highlight that the 1940 so we they battled New York Giants. We also also on that day 4 years ago this week became all we're just have some continue on for so I'm just doing a bit of a just bear with us. Chapters of so we has a lot with that in you know, Purdy was like the you know the very important ball game for them Thursday because don't fall the game back again. You're worried for 0-2 in the division. technical problems with our system, so we. Here we go. So here we go. So we just had some problems. Just had to get this thing back on track. So the 49ers we have a good treat. Have our video flash from 94. We're back to week 6 of the season. And New York just coming in this 84 season. Of course, Niners going to go 15-1 the regular season, and they're taking on the New York Giants and hit to for 84 Giants. Bill Parcells. The New York Giants team going in there this game 3-3 or 3-2 going into the game, and the Giants surprising a lot of people, starting to turn things around. We're trying to get the how they got this season before, but we and so I'm just trying to get the information. So it all started for the Giants in 1983. The previous year, Bill Parcells, the second year as head coach, the Giants a terrible, a horrible year in 1983. Giants it was a dismal 3-12-1 record, finished dead last in the NFC East, and the backdrop of that team is they and it was not a year for Bill Parsons this first year, and that brings us to 1984, which many people felt was the one of the big tournaments. The Giants were in the ball, and they 1984 they had a turnaround year in 84. They got a good turnaround year in 84 from 3-12 in the finishing night, and it all started at Austin. Bill Parsons started to get a hold. Started bringing his own guys, and that team, that class of '84, the '84 draft, he picked first round pick Carl Banks, linebacker for Michigan State. and Roberts from Ohio State, Jeff Hostetler. Remember this? Jeff Hostetler, quarterback of West Virginia. He was 6 years ago, the Giants winning their second Super Bowl. Injured Phil Simms. Very reasons at linebacker from Northwestern State, and then wide receiver from University of Pacific, Lionel Manuel, and then the big people thought at this point the old overall in the overall roster was pretty bad roster. 3% was injured a lot. 5 seasons, and Phil Simms now replaced. It was the full starting time quarter job, and it was a good year for the New York Giants. They're picking on the Giants came in the 84 season, only had 3 weak seasons, and with a losing record and coming off the 3 campaign, the 17 losing season in the last 20 years. The New York Giants had only made the playoffs only one appearance in the previous 21 in the previous 21 in the past 21 years. At that time, changed the Chicago Bears back in 1963, and the 49ers taking on the New York Giants in week number 6 the NFL season. They are, this was a big, important game for the Giants, or for the 49ers, as they're traveling to the East Coast. And let's just give you just a recap. First half of score, first 5 previous games, how we get to this matchup in week number 6 of the NFL season, as the 49ers taking on the New York Giants at the Meadowlands for ABC's Monday Night Football. And this was a big deal. This was a big and we're just having some hard time with our Wi-Fi system trying to download or trying to get it, but we just for the technical difficulties, we do what we possibly can on Niners Radio 49. We're showing those highlights as we get them available. We're just having a little technical difficulties, and I think we finally got it. We're just getting close, and so here we go. So this was week number 6. Niners taking on the New York Giants at Candlestick, or I say at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And I'm gonna pull this game. Just get everybody get a rolling shot. Screen, put on the rolling clip. Week number. Show you that clip. That clip in just a moment. This was from week 6 and taking on the New York Giants at Candlestick Park. We're at the Meadowlands. Here was a clip of that game, and we're going to show it to you right now.
On a Monday night in New York, the Niners unleashed more prime time television than the 80s.
we're doing forever to get that thing. So we're gonna replan. So pause the inconvenience. We're doing the best we can. These things take forever. We're gonna replay that. And this was from week 6. This was a clip from the 1984 Bowl. So we're gonna show you the clip again. Okay, so we're just gonna take a look back at that game while that thing is down. I waste more time because I apologize for the inconvenience. We we're gonna show you the highlight of the game. Before Irish came to this game have no and this was game as a clear across the continent for Monday Night Football, and they will play on Monday Night Football, and we're going to show you the some of the highlights from that game, or just the game was played on October 8th, 1984. The kickoff time was at, of course, been having problems with our Wi-Fi system. Keeps on cutting on and off. We're try to get these things. I don't like it. We're doing the best we try to do to keep this thing going. So the 49ers were winners in week number 6, 31-10, and of course these the Niners with their victory improved their record to 6-0, while the Giants fall to 3-3. All right, we're back here on Niners Radio 49ers tonight. We're just continue to have technical difficulties. We apologize for any of the inconvenience. We are doing the best we can to get this thing back on go. We're going to continue on Niners Radio 49ers tonight. Professor B here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios in San Francisco. So as we were continuing we talked under that prolonged delay. We're going to get you that clip. Niners were playing the New York Giants, and we're reviewing from the 40-year anniversary of the Super Bowl of their Super Bowl season of 1984. Niners end up in the first 6 games. Just to recap it. The 49ers winning in the previous week. They end up beating the Atlanta Falcons 14-5. The Niners just really dominant. Falcons, I think, outplayed the 49ers in that game. They're now 5-0. They beat the Giants on Monday Night Football 31-10. Their record now goes to 6-0. And we're going to give you that highlight of from 1984, Niners and the Giants, a little bit of a clip from their NFL 1984 Super Highlight Yearbook, and we're going to try to do it again. And we apologize for the inconvenience. The Wi-Fi has really been a Achilles heel, so we're doing the best we can. All you can do is try and do the best we can. And here's this clip. As we're going to show you that clip in just a moment. I'm going to...
On a Monday night in New York, the Niners unleashed more primetime devastation than the A-Team. Number 83, Ronaldo Nehemiah, was one of 12 players to score touchdowns during the first 6 weeks. And the undefeated 49ers were displaying an offense so explosive and so exotic that it seemed to belong in a Robert Ludlum
offense in detail and specifics, but it's all top secret.
But the reason for Bill Walsh's success is
All right, that was a classic 49ers segment that from 1984. You can see on that clip that was Joe Montana connecting with Ronaldo Nehemiah for a touchdown pass in their convincing win over the New York Giants. And I'm going to give you the stats again from that game from Week 6. The Niners end up winning that game 31-10. And the Niners the Giants outgained San Francisco. The Niners the Giants had 389 total yards of offense. Niners ended up getting 384. And the Niners, and the final totals again, Joe Montana threw for 207 yards, 207, 3 touchdown passes. Wendell Tyler rushed for 101 yards. Roger Craig led the Niners in receptions with 95 yards on 7 catches. Phil Simms, 24 of 43, 290 yards, 2 interceptions. Rob Carpenter was 11 carries for 45 yards and then 5 receptions for 78 yards. So the Niners, with that victory, now goes to 6-0 in the young season. And we're going to take a look at the Week 6 scoreboard around the NFL from week number 6. And remember, the Niners played on Monday Night Football on October the 8th, 1984. So the rest of the scores from Sunday, it was the Jets over the Kansas City Chiefs 17-16. And the Jets improved their record to 4-2. The Chiefs fall to 3-3. And then it was the Denver Broncos defeating the Detroit Lions 28-7. John Elway, or I should say, Steve Watson led the Broncos with 7 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Billy Sims, 9 receptions for 80 yards for the Detroit Lions. So at this point, with the loss, the Detroit Lions fall to 1-5. And remember, the Detroit Lions are the same Detroit Lions who end up were the defending NFC Central Division champs from 1983, who took the 49ers right down to the wire in that memorable divisional playoff game on New Year's Eve 1983, the previous year, where they had a chance to win that game and steal the win and advance to the NFC Championship, but it was Eddie Murray's missing that 40-yard field goal late in the fourth quarter that went hooked wide right, and the Niners held on to a 24-23 one-point victory. So the Lions are not, for former 49er head coach, the late Monty Clark, not a good way to start out the gate. And in other scores, it was the Dolphins over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 31-7. Dan Marino homecoming, throwing for 2 touchdown passes, as Mark Clayton had 5 catches for 110 yards, and John Stallworth 6 catches for 94 yards. Dolphins are now 6-0, so the 2 undefeated teams going in, as we're in the 6th week of the NFL season, 1984, both the Dolphins and 49ers, both are 6-0. And then it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 35-31 over the Minnesota Vikings. Tommy Kramer threw for 386 yards and threw 2 touchdowns in the contest. So the Vikings fall to 2-4. The Buccaneers improved to 3-3. Then it was the New England Patriots 17-16 over the Cleveland Browns. And then it was the Chicago Bears over the New Orleans Saints 20-7. Walter Payton rushed for 154 yards and a touchdown. And that was on that day he became Pro Football's all-time leading rusher, passing the great Jim Brown. And the Bears, the improving Bears, they go to 4-2. The Saints go to 3-3. And this is a team that went all the way to the NFC Championship, and they had the number 1 defense. Philadelphia Eagles over the Buffalo Bills 27-17. As Ron Jaworski threw for 234 yards and two touchdown passes, the Eagles improved to 2-4, while the Buffalo Bills start the year with their 6th consecutive loss. They're 0-6. The St. Louis Cardinals with a huge upset. They knock off the Dallas Cowboys in Texas Stadium in Irving, 31-20. Neil Lomax threw for 354 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Roy Green had a big monster day for the Cardinals, most underrated wide receiver back in the 80s. You dig a ball, 8 catches, 189 yards, 2 touchdown receptions. And Tony Dorsett had 14 carries for 96 yards. O.J. Anderson, who would play for the New York Giants, 2 Super Bowl winning teams, and got the league MVP or Super Bowl 25 MVP in 1990. For the Cardinals, 25 carries for 110 yards. So the Cardinals improved to 3-3, while the Cowboys dropped to 4-2. And then for the 2-time defending NFC champion Washington Redskins, they're playing the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, that was their first season in Indianapolis after moving from Baltimore. 35-7, Redskins over the Colts. Joe Theismann threw 4 touchdown passes while throwing for 267 yards in the contest. John Riggins rushed for 94 yards. Art Monk, 8 catches for 141 yards and 3 touchdown receptions. So the Redskins, who started out the gate poor, losing their first 2 games to both the Miami Dolphins and the 49ers, the 2 teams that were 2 eventual Super Bowl participants for 1984, they're now on a 4-game winning streak. There was the Atlanta Falcons over the LA Rams in Los Angeles down at Anaheim, 30-28, as Eric Dickerson rushed for 107 yards and rushed for 2 touchdowns. As the Rams improved to 3-3, the Falcons dropped to 3-3, and then the Cincinnati Bengals, under their first-year head coach and former offensive assistant Sam White with Bill Walsh's 49ers, 13-3 the final score in that contest. As the Bengals pick up their first win of the season, they're 1-5, while the Oilers are 0-6, are one of 2 teams in the AFC winless. Then there was the San Diego Chargers over the Green Bay Packers, 34-28. Dan Fouts threw for 376 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Len Dickey threw for 384 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and threw 2 interceptions in the losing effort. Kellen Winslow, 15 catches, 157 yards for the Bolts. Paul Kaufman, 8 catches for 104 yards and a touchdown in a losing effort for the Packers at Lambeau Field. So with the win, the Chargers improved their record to 4-2. The Green Bay Packers dropped to 1-5. And then it was the defending Super Bowl champion battling with the Seahawks for first place. The Raiders, the defending Super Bowl champs, with a 28-14 win over the Seahawks, as Mark Wilson threw for 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marcus Allen was held to only 40 yards rushing, but and then Marcus Allen had a good day, 4 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. So the defending Super Bowl champion Raiders go to 5-1, and the Seattle Seahawks improved to 4-2. And then the 49ers, with their win 31-10, they now are 6-0, and they now have a commanding 3-game lead over the rest of the pack of the NFC West, a 3-game lead over the rest of their rival. So the Niners get off to that great start, and they have already beaten both the Saints and the Falcons, and they've yet to play the Rams, so they're 2-0 in the division. They have a 3-game lead, only at the quarter mark, and they already have a 3-game lead to put some distance into a boat race to bury the rest of the pack. So the 49ers taking care of business. They are just taking care of their business and doing their thing. Got there with a W over the New York Giants, and they're just trying to and really putting some distance at the quarter mark, where they have a commanding 3-game lead in the NFC West. And there you have it. That was a look back from the 40 years anniversary of the 49ers 1984 Super Bowl. And the 49ers facing a Steeler team with Chuck Noll. And some of the names and faces have changed, but we'll talk about that game, week number 7, when the Niners taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers for an interconference matchup at Candlestick Park next week, as we continue to pay homage and tribute to the 1984, to the 40-year anniversary of the 49ers 1984 Super Bowl championship season. And our next one we'll be doing on 49ers Live, a look back on the 49ers as we commemorate the 35th anniversary of the 49ers winning back-to-back Super Bowls. We'll look back at week number 5, when the 49ers traveled down to the Big Easy to take on the New Orleans Saints in an important NFC West game. They're trying to bounce back after that heartbreaking loss to the LA Rams in their home opener. We'll do that on our next podcast, and then later in the week, we'll take a look back for where we honored the 1994 Super Bowl season, the 30-year anniversary from 1984, with the 49ers taking on the Detroit Lions at the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, as the Niners trying to rebound from that ugly showing at 40-8, ugly showing to the Philadelphia Eagles at Candlestick Park. And many people look back at that Niners-Lions game was the turning point of their season. We'll look back that later this week, after, probably I believe on Friday, because due to 49ers Seahawks, we will look at that game on Friday. And many people say that was the beginning of the most important win of the 1984 season. We'll look at that game on Friday. So, in our final segment, we want to take a look back the ceremonies from last Sunday, or over at we're going to take a look back of something really cool. We're going to take a look back of and we're going to try to pull that video out at the halftime show. All footage is courtesy by, as he gets into the ring, his Hall of Fame ring. So this is cram that in before we call it a wrap. Patrick Willis, probably one of my favorite defensive linebackers, and so we're gonna show you that. So we'll show you that clip of Patrick Willis's Hall of Fame ceremonial induction from last Sunday at Levi Stadium. So there was a clip for this, though.
Career in the red and gold from 2007 to 2014. Selected to a record 7 consecutive Pro Bowls in his first 7 seasons, and the first player in 49ers history to be selected as an All-Pro in each of the first 6 seasons of his career. His 53 passes defended and 16 forced fumbles are the most among 49ers linebackers. A 2-time recipient of the Bill Walsh Award. 49ers fans, let's hear it for the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Patrick Willis. And now, here to say a few words, please welcome Vice President of Museum and Archives from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, John Kendall.
The mission of the Pro Football Hall of Fame is to honor the greatest of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and celebrate excellence together. Today, we celebrate that excellence and honor Patrick Willis, one of the greatest, by presenting him with his Hall of Fame Ring of Excellence created by Kay Jewelers. This Ring of Excellence, along with his bronze bust and his gold jacket created by Hager, are the 3 iconic symbols that represent inclusion in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There have been over 300 million men and women who have played the great game at any level. Only 5 million to play the game on college campuses, and just 30,000 who have been a part of the game at the professional level since the NFL was founded in Canton in 1920. Patrick Willis is only one of 378 who have earned election to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. On behalf of the Hall's board, staff, and your fellow Hall of Famers, it is our honor to present this Hall of Fame Ring of Excellence to Patrick Willis, Hall of Famer number 378. Patrick, congratulations.
Faithful! Faithful! It is a great honor to be standing here today as Pro Football Hall of Famer 378 receiving this Hall of Fame Ring of Excellence. Great ones have came before me, and many will come after me. So to have played for a historical franchise such as the 49ers, to have the privilege to leave my mark on this game, and to be able to say, job well done, is an honor. I am truly humbled and full of gratitude. When I was drafted to the 49ers organization in 2007, I just wanted to let everyone know that they made the right pick. So to the 49ers organization, the York family, and all before, to this city, and to the faithful, I hope I made you proud with the time the Lord allotted me to play this amazing sport we call football. My uncle once told me, boss, no matter what happens in life, always give God all the praise, glory, and honor. And on this day, and all days, I do just that. To my family, friends, coaches, teammates, trainers, and everyone else, you know who you are. And to you faithful fans, thank you for your love, support, sacrifice, dedication, seen and unseen. Again, to all of you who had a helping hand, cheered, and prayed for me on my journey to Canton, I am forever grateful. And I want you to know that you stand with me in the Hall of Fame. This ring and this
For Pro Football Hall of Fame member Patrick Willis.
All right, that was from last Sunday. In case you missed it at halftime, Patrick Willis making Pro Bowl, all consensus All Pro, 6 of the 7 of his 8 seasons there with the 49ers, and he that was a great halftime speech last Sunday. And that's going to wrap it up for tonight on 49ers Radio or 49ers Live tonight. Your host, Brian Professor B. Davis. And like I said, you know, we apologize for the technical difficulties with our Wi-Fi. It's been cutting in and out, and sorry for the inconvenience, but, you know, those things happen, and all you could do is do the best you could possibly do. You keep on just plugging away, keep pushing, keep plugging away, no matter how bad the situation is. You don't give up on something, though, because everybody wants to see the content, try and continue to build this thing, and, you know, and things do happen. So I'd like to thank all of you watching tonight on Niners Radio 49. All the footage, courtesy of all the footage, and as for educational purposes, and I'd like to thank you guys watching. We'll have another edition tomorrow on 49ers Live tonight on the eve before the Niners take on the Seattle Seahawks for a must-win game. And the kickoff will be at 5:20 on Amazon Prime. So for the latest news on the 49ers and so much more, go to 49ers.com. And that's it for now. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis from the Satellite Digital Media Broadcast Center here at Candlestick, Professor B's Candlestick Man Cave. That's it. Thank you for watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49, where every team has a fan. As the 49ers Live is a presentation of Niners Radio 49 in association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan, every fan has a voice, the network home of champions. Have a very good night, everybody. Take care.